Hey, it's Dan from the Alter Kakers. Today I'm going to walk you through what is essentially one of the greatest snare drums ever made, the Ludwig 5x14 Black Beauty. Follow me. We're going to talk about this. Is the 5x14 Ludwig Black Beauty. Some argue it's the most recorded snare drum in history. I just know that it sounds brilliant. After I finish talking, you're going to get some clips of it in a band context, as we'll splice in some of the stuff from our rehearsal today. I bought this one, I think I've had it about 3 years now, and you would think, looking at it, it's just like a bone stock 5x14, nothing really special about it. You'd be wrong. You got to look at it a little bit closer, and you'll see that one thing about modern Black Beauties compared to the vintage ones is that I can't remember when they started, but it's got to be about 15 or almost 20 years ago. Ludwig and most drum manufacturers started throwing a whole bunch of gaskets underneath all of the lugs. Whether you want to call that for isolation, maybe they didn't want to mar up the shell. In Ludwig's case, there's a prevailing theory that the gaskets underneath the lugs also help because Ludwig has kind of a notoriety, especially in modern drums, for lug splay. The older ones, not so much. Something about the size of the shells or the manufacturing process where it's not quite exactly the same tolerance as back in the day. But also the modern Ludwigs and basically most snare drums come with 2.3 millimeter hoops, which is significantly thicker than the 1.6 millimeter hoops that used to be on drums of the 70s and 60s, which is why, you know, even to my ears, and maybe it's all in my head, but I know that when I buy, whether it's this or the aluminum drum that I'll probably end up featuring later, so I won't give away which aluminum I have. I'll say it's a Ludwig, but I have an aluminum Ludwig. To me, they sound better, they sound more open with the 1.6 millimeter hoops as opposed to the 2.3 millimeter hoops. Now with the brass snares, and this is some insight that I got from watching the Sounds Like a Drum channel on YouTube. Cody Ron and company do a really good job keeping drummers in the loop. Their channel's all about tone and sounds and drums, and if you get a chance and you're of a particular interest, check it out. They did a feature spotlight on the Black Beauty. The link will be in the description. And their particular Black Beauty actually belongs to Abe Laboreal Jr., who, if you don't know, he's the drummer for Paul McCartney. They had a 6.5x14 Black Beauty, a more vintage one than this one, but they had die cast on it. I'm not a fan of die cast hoops, but well, what I put on here, and if you want to get a little bit closer, I put on Pearl's fat tone hoops. And what fat tone hoops are 1.6 millimeter hoops, just like the vintage ones from the 70s, and these sound much more open, but unlike those softer 1.6 mil hoops from the 70s, these are really, really rigid, so you get the benefit of getting that openness that a 1.6 millimeter hoop gives you without sacrificing the tunability and the sound and the focus that you might want, especially out of a brass drum. I'm not a fan of that so much out of aluminum drums, but for brass, absolutely amazing. And so what I did is I put those on. I also took all the lug gaskets off, and last but not least, went to the good folks at Just Drums and had them professionally install basically a tone control. This is a genuine Ludwig tone control. It's like the ones that have been on the drums forever. And you know, there's this, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, manufacturers stopped putting tone controls, especially on snares. You're starting to see it come back a little bit recently, which in my opinion is a good thing. Saves you having to screw around with moon gels and everything else that you lose and whatnot. But anyway, to me, this is my Black Beauty. Thanks for checking us out. We're the Alter Kakers. See you soon.